Hey, it's Chad and Sarah with DriveTheLightning.com with another
Hey.
video. This one, Sarah, we're addressing to those who are thinking about going electric, but they're concerned, will I be able to go on a road trip?
Maybe they have a major case of range anxiety and they want to know what's it like if I get an EV? Can I go more than around the block?
Because that's a big conception out there, a big misconception maybe is
It was one that I had.
we were
So,
terrified.
yeah, I can't say anything about it except that, now we have our EV and I'm good. But
So let's not waste any time and let's just get right to the point. Let's talk to somebody who just bought an electric car recently and took their first road trip.
yes.
You know what that means? It's time for Let's Ask Andy. Okay, Andy. So for those people out there that are thinking, I want to go electric, maybe I want to buy the BMW i3, but I won't be able to take a road trip because after all, it's just got this little battery. What is that, 100 miles on just battery? Something like that on the BMW i3?
About 100. It depends on the model year, but right now my winter mileage is approximately 90, 95 miles.
Okay, so you can see why people are thinking, like we thought before we went electric.
It's like buying an anchor. I can't go anywhere.
My baby boomer dad said, you're going to need a long extension cord if you're going to go anywhere. Like that's an old joke even for this industry, I think. But what do you think? Now, you've actually done it. You've taken your wife and your kid. You might have had to run duct tape around her and force her into the car. I don't know. That's
Right.
your
Hey,
business.
No, nobody's doing
But
that.
somehow you convinced her and your son to go on a road trip in an electric car. So either dispel the myths or further terrify everybody. What was it like? What was it like planning for it, for example? A road trip in electric?
It was the most uneventful road trip we've ever taken.
That's the best kind.
The car performed flawlessly. It did everything it had to do. And most importantly, it reassured me and my range anxiety. It's easing a lot now. But we took our car that has a 90, 95 mile winter range, and we took it about 240, 250 mile road trip with it in one day. And
Wow.
it was crazy because for a little while we thought, what if we can't charge up? And that's where the range extender really comes into its own. We were able to get between destinations on the expressway and on the freeways using the range extender and save our battery for the low speed driving.
Now, that's interesting because in the BMW i3 that my mom owns, the range extender just kicks in automatically when it gets down to 6%. It just kicks on. So you must have done something different for that to happen to be able to use it earlier.
Yes. With our car, I did the BMW coding and I activated the range extender menu, which allowed me to use it when the battery would be under 75% state of charge. You have the ability to turn it on and off.
Okay, so you got on the highway and then when you clicked on the range extender manually, which is really cool. And then that allowed you to run with the range extender gas, right, while you were on the highway?
Exactly. So what they refer to that is holding the state of charge. So what you'll actually see, so that you know it's working, because it's really quiet when it's on. You might not even notice it. If you look down at your instrument cluster on your mom's car, especially, you'll see a little white arrow pointing down on the battery meter where it would turn on the range extender. And that's about 6%. So having the manual ability to turn it on, when you turn it on, the little arrow is then pointing to where it turned on at, and it will keep that charge at that level. And depending on the speed you're driving, you might even add a mile or two back on as you're driving because it's really efficient that way. But we were able to cruise comfortably doing 65, 70 all the way to our destination before we turned it off, and then we continued using battery power only.
Well, that's cool.
Nice.
So before you went, did you have an idea of how many charges you were going to need? Because that's a big thing people ask. Is am I going to be able to find chargers? and all of that. So were you able to look ahead to use an app or something, or did you just chance it and just get on the road like the manly man from Canada that you are?
I am not that manly yet.
That'd be pretty manly. Just saying.
The range anxiety was still there. I wasn't ready to just hit the road like I would before with our ice car and just go for it and know there's a gas station. So I did use an app to plot the route and to see what charging stops there are. The car does have pre-programmed in it where stops are for charging, but it's not as updated in some cases. So we were using the ChargePoint app to verify stops along the way. We made one stop on the way back actually to charge up because we had burned through the gas and the battery.
Oh, so is that the only time you charged in that 240 or 50 mile trip? Just the one time?
I charged once and stopped for gas twice because I panicked, and really I didn't have to stop twice, but I did.
What's it like stopping for gas with a car with a 2 or a 1.9 gallon tank? That must be like boom, in and out.
It was comical. It was actually comical. The price of gas at the time was over $6.50. I think it was closer, based on conversions, closer to $7 a gallon that day. So when I pulled into the gas bar and put the gas in, it took maybe 10 seconds and it clicked.
It must have made people jealous.
People were wondering what I was doing, and it made no sense to them. I hopped in the car, drove off, and that was it. It was really great only having to buy $10 worth of fuel at any time.
That's amazing.
That's
then
neat.
where you put the gas in on the BMW i3 is trippy too. That must have freaked people out because your gas, what do you call that thing? What would you call the thing where you put the gas in?
Under the gas cap?
Yeah, right. Your gas cap. Let's call it that. That's at the front of the BMW,
Yeah,
right?
it's on the front versus the back. The BMW is backwards in that the charging door is on the back of the car, not the front of the car like everyone else's. It's definitely funny to see people's reactions, or just see people think, well, why is he pulling up an electric car to a gas pump and pumping it in? The car makes people wonder when they see it.
I've always thought that about the BMW i3 because it looks like it's from another planet or something. Yeah, it's trippy.
Yeah.
So one charge, a couple of gas station stops that you probably only needed maybe one of those. And how long at the charger? Because that's another question we get a lot, or another thought that's out there. I got to stay at the charger for. And our news station here, Andy, in Grand Rapids, Michigan, they did a bit about electric cars. And they went around and they showed a level 2 charger, which, as you know, is not fast at all. Mm-hmm. And they said, well, the infrastructure is terrible. It can take you 4 hours to charge your car. And, the general public here doesn't know that that's not really a fast charger.
That's not how you charge it usually when you're on a trip.
So what was your charging experience itself like? Was it 4 hours in the car waiting?
Oh, no, not at all. We pulled up to a stop that had DC fast charging because our car has that option to DC fast charge. If your car doesn't, then it can take a lot longer because you would have to resort to the level 2. But as far as I'm aware, every new EV on the road has DC fast charging standard, and then there's super fast DC charging now that only a few cars have, which really bring the time down to almost nothing. But with what we did when we pulled up to the DC fast charger, I registered on the app to say I was there, plugged it in, and I was there for exactly 59 and a half minutes.
Okay, good.
And that was from a battery that was almost all the way down to a battery that was almost all the way up because when the battery's topping off, it slows down significantly. Yeah. So we just topped it up to a little over 80% and we hit the road again.
That's awesome. Enough time to stop, get a snack, if you're our age, Andy, you got to use the bathroom. You can't drive a
To go for a little walk if your joints get stiff,
right walk.
like me.
So overall,
No, I want to thank you because you made a point to mention that when you pulled up to the charger, you logged in on the ChargePoint app to say that you were using it. And as a ChargePoint app user, I really appreciate that. We've had 2 incidents where one of our hobbies is, oh, there's a new charger on the ChargePoint app. So we go and we drive to check it out. And twice we have gotten to the charger that shows there's a charger there and it's not actually powered on yet, or it's not usable. So for us, thankfully, it's kind of in our area, so it wasn't a big deal. But now, having had that experience a couple of times, when we are planning our trips to get rid of my range anxiety so I know where we're going to charge, I check to see if it's been used recently so that you know that it's actually up and running and you're not going to get there and find out that was your only charging option and there's no charger there really.
so there's a pro tip
Big
for
help.
you. There's a
Big
pro
help.
tip for everybody listening.
Yeah.
Check the app, whatever app it is, because
Yeah.
Bookshare does that too,
Yep.
and see who used it last. Is that a functioning charger?
Right.
Yeah.
And if you're an EV user like Andy and like us, thank you for checking in at the chargers so that we have that information available when we're checking.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. Hey, if this is useful to anybody, give us a thumbs up. If you really don't like Sarah, just give a thumbs down. It's fine. Whatever you have to do. If Andy's okay by you, maybe 2 thumbs up.
If
Okay,
you like
back
all
to
of us,
Andy.
please subscribe.
Please subscribe if you like all of us, but only under that. Only if you like everybody on this screen. Yeah. Okay. So, Andy, now that you've taken a serious road trip with the wife and kids, we should go back a minute. How did your wife feel about going on a road trip in an electric car for the first time?
It's really peaceful because there's no added noise, no added vibrations. It's a very relaxing drive, more so than in a regular car. She actually fell asleep during part of it, so it's a testament to just how easy a drive it is.
Nice.
Is my range anxiety still there? Maybe a little bit, but really, I don't fear going around town all day. We don't charge up every night like we used to. We'll go a few days and then charge up because we realize the car can do what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's great. What a cool car the BMW i3, especially the range extender is.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you for sharing your experiences with us. Anything else that you think, I mean, no rules here, anything you think people that are watching this might need to know because you just recently started down this EV journey, if you want to call it that. Anything you could think of that might help somebody who's trying to make the decision?
They're not slow cars.
That, my friend, is
It's
true.
true.
Yeah. And yours is faster than ours. We have the
Yep.
Nissan Leaf, and we think it's pretty quick. For our age, I guess it probably is because we can do 0 to 60 in just under 10 seconds. We've only tested it under the safest of conditions.
Yeah.
But what about yours? The BMW's faster.
I've been told it can do 0 to 60 in 7.2. I'm not going to confirm that because I don't know who's watching. But
That seems
it-
wise.
You don't want the Canadian mounted police showing up at the flower shop. You know, we watched your video, Andy. Yeah.
But it is definitely plenty fast.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Good point.
Yeah, we found that we don't drive fast very much, but we do enjoy that it's quick and it responds very well. We find it a lot of fun to drive.
Well, very good. Thank you for sharing your experience once again. And for anybody out there that wants to know when Andy was talking about coding or hacking the BMW i3, there's a video right here where he explains how to do that. Because I would tell you, but I don't know until I was part of this video. And Sarah doesn't know. So Andy's
I
the
never
guy.
know.
Check
I'm
out this
never in the
video.
know.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Andy. Have a great night.
Thank you.